Yo, 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 what it do, what it be? It's your boy ANT giving y'all a little POV on history. This ain't no conspiracy. I'm talking about experiments that we had running down in Tuskegee. By the way, you can't see me cause I rep that G-A-M-E-G-A-N-G. That's the game, gang. You know we don't play. If you a lame, you know you can't hang. Nah, I'm just playing though, but y'all, let's get right into it. In high school, I think, or middle school, one of the two, I can remember learning about the Tuskegee Airmen, which, if y'all don't know, it was a group of African American pilots in the Second World War. Had a whole movie made about it. I think Cuba Gooding Jr. might have been in it, but it was critically acclaimed and all that. It wasn't until after high school, though, that I learned about the Tuskegee Experiments. I ain't got nothing to do with the airmen or none of that. Completely different and separate. It was basically a group of experiments meant to test the long-term effects of syphilis. The only catch is that they were testing this on people, specifically black people. Now, who would do such a terrible thing and basically use black people as guinea pigs in an experiment that is more of a dystopian chemical warfare vibe than genuine scientific curiosity? Who else? None other than the U.S. government. So let's take a detailed gander at another example of how the U.S. government be committing espionage against its own citizens. Now, I've covered MK Ultra. After this, I'm lining up Operation Mockingbird, the Snowden fiasco, and COINTELPRO. Got hot conspiracy content dropping soon, so y'all stay tuned with your boy. But this all started in 1928 with the Oslo study of untreated syphilis, where they pieced together studies of white males who had contracted syphilis and had it untreated for a while. Now, this led to the U.S. Public Health Service contacting the Tuskegee Institute, which was an HBCU in Macon, Alabama, and asked them to begin a study of the natural history of syphilis in 1932. Here's the thing, though. After the Oslo study dropped, American physicians began to theorize that syphilis affected African Americans differently than whites. So the study was officially named the Tuskegee Study of Untreated Syphilis in the Negro Male. This is the literal official name for the experiment. It's some crazy shit, right? So the U.S. government set up clinics in some of the poorest black communities in Alabama, promised them free food and health care to anybody who was willing to participate in the study. So, of course, free healthcare and shit like that, people gonna show up. And in the initial study, it had 600 black males take part, with 201 not having syphilis and 399 already having it. Supposedly, it was only supposed to last 1 year, and the men were supposed to receive treatment and cures after the study was over. But this, of course, never happened. And the study lasted until 1972. Not because the government thought it was the right thing to do, but because an American hero named Peter Buxton found out about this Fallout type government experiment that we was running, and they told his superiors up at PHS that some highly unethical shit might have been going on in Tuskegee. So the PHS reviewed the study in the mid-1960s and chose to continue the study until all the participants had died. Yeah, that was in the 60s. Penicillin was discovered as a cure for syphilis in 1943. So the government was giving these guys spinal taps, mercury treatments, and placebos. Meanwhile, they had the cure the whole fucking time. Some of the participants didn't even know they had syphilis. The doctors just kept telling them that they had quote-unquote bad blood, like a fucking WWF pay-per-view or something. Doctors with fucking PhDs and shit just telling you, oh yeah, you just got bad blood, bro. Sorry, you just lost the genetic lottery. You got bad blood. And they were still trying to figure out how to treat them. So Peter Buxton ended up telling a reporter named Gene Heller, who told another reporter, and in July of 1972, Gene Heller herself broke the story, dropping it through the Associated Press, which prompted the USPHS to finally shut down this sick experiment. Nobody went to jail, though, which should tell you all about how the justice system in America works at its finest. Taliaferro Clark, the founder of both the USPHS and the creator of the experiment, was a fucking racist, and he had racist motivations for the experiment from the start. He wanted to see how differently syphilis affected whites and blacks, but just so happened to not experiment on any white people. Isn't that crazy? Whether it be coincidence or, irony, we'll let you decide. But Then you got John Cutler. Oh, no, actually, no. Fuck that. John Cutler, since, he was a quack and wanted to break his oath and shit like that. John Cutler took part in a study. It was more like a Nazi experiment that was overseen by the U.S. government that infected hundreds of Guatemalan prisoners with syphilis against their will in the 1940s in order to test the effects of treatments of syphilis. So they were given fake treatments to the Tuskegee participants, meanwhile giving the real shit to fucking prisoners after they already gave them syphilis. John Cutler later became a lead researcher in the Tuskegee operation, to nobody's fucking surprise. Now, Thomas Paran Jr., he also helped develop a non-treatment study in Macon County. He was a health commissioner in New York and paid by the Rosenwald Fund to find suitable locations for the experiments. Now, Oliver C. Wenger and his staff oversaw and overtook the project after the funding was lost and it became a long-term project. Raymond A. Vonderlehr was the on-site director of research, and he actually gained consent. I'll use that term loosely. He basically got consent to spinal tap patients after he told them that it was a special free treatment. And he also met with local black doctors and told them not to treat participants in the study. And that was before he retired in 1943. Now, he retired the same year penicillin was discovered as a cure. Whether that's irony or coincidence, again, I'll let y'all decide. But he's still a piece of shit regardless. Now, sometimes it even be your own people. Nurse Eunice Rivers was an African-American nurse who actually trained at the Institute and worked on the project over its entirety. She was responsible for gaining the trust of participants, and she also convinced families of the participants to sign autopsy agreements in exchange for free burial benefits. And really, burial benefits should have been the bare minimum that the participants received, considering the experiment was the main reason for them, fucking dying and shit. But the Tuskegee experiment severely crippled the African American community's trust in the American healthcare system for obvious and good reasons, too. I mean, they literally... It's hard not to look at this as anything other than some Fallout Vault type shit that Hitler would look at this and say, like, oh, well, why the fuck didn't we think of that? All of the people that I mentioned that were involved in the experiment are all dead and passed away now, but I hope their names forever live on in infamy and shame, and I hope from the bottom of my heart that they're all resting in shit. Shout out to Peter Buxton and Gene Heller, though. They are some real American heroes of history, willing to expose the truth of what the evil, dastardly, villainous shit that the government was running back then, and they even still be doing some foul shit today. But by the time they exposed the truth about the Tuskegee experiments in 1972, unfortunately 28 participants had died from syphilis. 100 more had passed away from complications with the disease. 40 spouses had contracted and passed it on to 19 children at birth. Over 250 of the participants were drafted into the war and then were told by the military that they needed syphilis treatments, which they never received. It is the most unethical study in U.S. history. Calling it scientific or any of that is a spit in the face of real science and scientists. This was racially motivated chemical warfare. I mean, at its finest, at worst or at best, depending on how you look at it. R.I.P. Rest in peace to the unknowing participants who got taken advantage of and killed by their own government. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, though. Like I said, I got more hot conspiracy, mystery, and history content dropping soon. So like this video, sub, turn on notifications so y'all can stay tuned. I'm just trying to out here kick knowledge and shit like that. We're playing some Fallout. But it's been your boy ANT, giving y'all a little POV. And yeah, don't get smoked, y'all. I'm out. Peace. Enjoy the rest of the video.